Hi, so in previous videos we've used an SX10 to demonstrate certain administrative processes that you'd go through with the system. Now all of the web interfaces are virtually the same. There is a few subtle differences between system to system, but the majority of the Cisco codecs have got a virtually identical web interface. The one thing we have got in common with all of these is all of the systems we are using are all registered to a Cisco VCS control. There is other methods of registering these systems, as an example Cisco Spark or WebEx Teams as it's now being called, and you've also got the ability to register them in Call Manager. We're interested in the VCS. Okay, so for this one, what we are going to do is we are going to use a different codec. Okay, we're going to use an MX800, which is pretty much an SX80 codec with a different option key loaded onto it. So the SX80 looks almost identical to an MX700 or an MX800. In this instance, the user has reported a fault on the camera. Now, I can't demonstrate this one because I haven't got a system with a camera error up on it, but what I'm going to show you here is what you can do with a reported fault. So from the web interface, I've just clicked on Call Control, and this enables to look down the barrel of the camera lens to see what's going on. Now, in order to do this, you need a remote management key loaded onto the system. So you can find your keys. If you go to maintenance and option keys, you see here you've got multi-site option key, which is not installed. You've got remote monitoring, which allows you to look into the room down the camera to see what the users are seeing, and you've also got the encryption key, which is active. As of the time of this video being made, which is the 18th of May 2018, the encryption key is usually a free key from Cisco. You need to speak to Cisco licensing, but in order to get that, again, you need a cisco.com ID and you need a valid maintenance contract on the unit. So we're going to call control here. Now this system has got speakertrack built into it, which is two cameras that you don't really control. They home in on the user that is speaking on in the room. Now they use a combination of facial recognition and audio reinforcement in the room to identify where the user is that's talking. One of the cameras is on the talking user, and as the next person starts to talk, the second camera zooms in and focuses onto the new user, and the image switches. On the newer systems such as the Room Kit, so the Room Kit Plus, Room Kit 55, they have all got the fixed camera speaker track built into them, so they use more facial recognition, but there is still a level of audio triangulation going on there. Now, what we're going to do in this case is there's one camera not working, one camera is working. So speakertrack knows that there's a problem. The codec knows that it can't see one of the cameras. We're getting an error message up on screen. So if you've got a maintenance agreement in place, we'll have some parts there next business day. However, these rooms are booked out pretty constantly. So what we need to do is we need to put a workaround in place for the user so they can continue to hold video conferencing calls while we wait for the replacement parts. So to do that, we're going to go setup and configuration. And this handy little search bar here, we are going to type in speakertrack or speaker. And then what we are going to look is for speakertrack mode, that is set to auto. We're going to switch that off. We're going to save the setting. Now on this version of firmware, save is up here. On some versions of firmware, save will be down here in the specific section. So if you click save and we go back to call control, you will see now here on the main view, we have got the option to switch cameras, whereas we didn't have that before. So if we wake the system up and refresh, it's camera 2, it's camera 1. Both cameras are pointing in the same way, but you can see ever so slightly which way the cameras are because the image is off center. So we're going to simulate that camera 2 has failed. So what you're going to do here is the main camera is camera 1. You don't need to press save. So now every time the system goes into a call or wakes up until we tell it otherwise, it's going to look at camera 1. So the speaker track's disabled, but camera 1 will work as a standard PTZ camera. So that's pan, tilt and zoom, and you've got full control of the system from the Cisco Touch 10 or the remote control or third-party control system, so you can still use the camera. Once the engineer's been to site and they've replaced the speaker track, to undo this, you just go to Setup, Configuration, type speaker track, and just flick mode back to auto, save. If we go back to call control, you see the option to switch camera has disappeared here now because it's automatic with speaker track.